Title: The Unraveling Mystery of Ted Bundy, Unveiling the Depths of Darkness. In the annals of true crime, few names evoke the same spine-chilling resonance as that of Ted Bundy. His story transcends mere horror. It's a chilling odyssey into the darkest recesses of the human psyche, where the ordinary seamlessly intertwines with the monstrous. Let us embark on a journey into the depths of his darkness, beginning in the tranquil town of Tacoma, Washington. Ted Bundy's origins were shrouded in a tumultuous upbringing marked by instability and loneliness. Raised by a single mother in the 1940s, he grappled with a profound sense of disconnection from an early age. But beneath his outwardly charming demeanor lay a sinister undercurrent, a darkness that would eventually consume him whole. His metamorphosis into a predator commenced during his college years at the University of Washington. Here, amidst the hallowed halls of academia, Bundy honed his skills of manipulation and deception. His charisma became a lethal weapon, a means to ensnare unsuspecting victims in his web of deceit. The disappearance of Linda Ann Healy in 1974 marked the ominous beginning of his reign of terror, a spree of abduction and murder that would cast a long, foreboding shadow over the nation. What followed was a macabre saga of abduction, rape, and murder that spanned multiple states and claimed the lives of countless young women. Bundy's modus operandi was as calculated as it was grotesque. He would often masquerade as a vulnerable soul, feigning injuries or disabilities to lower his victim's guard before unleashing his unspeakable cruelty upon them. But what truly sends shivers down the spine is Bundy's uncanny ability to blend seamlessly into society. To those around him, he was a charming and affable young man, seemingly incapable of such heinous acts. This duality, this stark dichotomy between the ordinary and the monstrous, allowed him to evade capture for an unnervingly long time, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. The psychological torment inflicted upon Bundy's victims and their families was as haunting as the crimes themselves. Each disappearance sent shockwaves of fear rippling through the communities he targeted, casting a pall of unease over once peaceful neighborhoods. The mere mention of his name was enough to instill a sense of dread in the hearts of those who knew of his atrocities. The case of Carol Durant stands as a chilling testament to Bundy's insidious manipulation. In November 1974, she narrowly escaped his clutches, her harrowing ordeal serving as a harrowing glimpse into the abyss of his depravity. Yet, even her courageous testimony wasn't enough to halt his relentless rampage. Bundy continued to elude authorities, slipping through their fingers like a wraith in the night. As law enforcement agencies raced against time to apprehend him, Bundy remained one step ahead, a shadowy specter haunting the collective consciousness of a nation gripped by fear. Despite their best efforts, he continued to evade capture, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and broken dreams. It wasn't until 1978 that Bundy's reign of terror finally met its end, thanks in large part to the relentless pursuit of investigators and the unwavering bravery of his surviving victims. After years of evasion, he was finally apprehended in Florida, bringing a sense of closure to the countless families who had been affected by his crimes. Bundy's trial captivated the nation, laying bare the depths of his depravity for all to see. The courtroom became a theater of horrors, a stage upon which the darkest facets of human nature were laid bare for all to behold. Yet, even in the face of overwhelming evidence, Bundy maintained his innocence, his chilling facade of normalcy remaining unshaken. In the end, Bundy was convicted and sentenced to death, his reign of terror coming to a long overdue end. But his legacy endures as a stark reminder of the darkness that lurks within us all, a cautionary tale of the fragility of the human psyche and the depths of depravity to which humanity can sink. The true horror of Ted Bundy's crimes lies not just in their brutality, but in the unsettling realization that evil can wear a familiar face. As we reflect on his atrocities, let us honor the lives lost and strive to prevent such horrors from ever happening again. Title: Shadows of Suburban Dread, Unveiling the Haunting of the Thompsons. Introduction. In the quiet suburbs, where the streets seem to whisper secrets to the wind, and the houses stand like silent sentinels guarding their own mysteries, there exists a tale of horror that defies explanation. Prepare to embark on a journey into the heart of fear, where the Thompson family's dreams of suburban bliss unravel into a nightmare of unimaginable proportions. Join me as we delve deep into the shadows that lurk behind closed doors and unravel the chilling truth that lies at the heart of their haunting. Chapter 1. A home shrouded in deception. The Thompsons, weary of the hustle and bustle of city life, sought refuge in the tranquility of suburbia, hoping to find solace in the embrace of a new home. Their eyes are lighted upon a quaint house nestled amidst towering trees and manicured lawns, its facade exuding an air of timeless elegance. Seduced by its promise of sanctuary, they eagerly crossed the threshold, unaware of the darkness that lay in wait. The house, with its ivy-covered walls and faded paint, seemed to hold its breath as they stepped inside, as if aware of the fate that awaited its unsuspecting inhabitants. Little did the Thompsons know that beneath its charming exterior lay a malevolent force eager to claim their souls as its own. Chapter 2. Whispers in the Stillness. At first, the disturbances were subtle, a faint rustling in the attic, a flicker of movement out of the corner of the eye. But as days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder, echoing through the empty corridors of the house like a siren's call. Objects would inexplicably vanish, only to reappear in places they had no business being, and strange shadows danced across the walls in the dead of night. Mrs. Thompson, her nerves already frayed from the stress of the move, found herself gripped by a sense of unease that refused to be shaken. Even the children, who had once laughed and played without a care in the world, now huddled together in fearful silence, their eyes wide with terror. Chapter 3. Descending into the abyss. As the phenomena intensified, so too did the Thompson family's descent into madness. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by endless nights plagued by visions of unspeakable horror. Mrs. Thompson would wake in a cold sweat, a heart pounding in her chest, only to find her husband staring blankly into the darkness, his eyes empty and devoid of emotion. The children, once the light of their parents' lives, now seemed to shrink away from their touch, as if afraid of the darkness that lurked within. Tension simmered beneath the surface, threatening to tear the family apart as paranoia and suspicion took hold. Chapter 4. The Malevolent Presence Unleashed. With each passing day, the malevolent presence lurking within the walls of their home grew stronger, feeding on their fear like a ravenous beast. Doors slammed shut with bone-rattling force, and unearthly wails echoed through the halls in the dead of night. Mrs. Thompson, her once bright eyes now clouded with fear, began to see visions of shadowy figures lurking in the corners of her vision, their eyes gleaming with malice. Mr. Thompson, his nerves frayed to the breaking point, turned to alcohol in a futile attempt to drown out the whispers that haunted his every waking moment. And still, the darkness continued to spread, consuming everything in its path like a ravenous fire. Chapter 5. The Breaking of Minds and Spirits. On a night cloaked in darkness, the horror reached its crescendo. The house itself seemed to shudder with malevolent intent as the malevolent force unleashed its full fury upon the unsuspecting family. Furniture flew across rooms with bone-shattering force, and blood-curdling screams tore through the air like a knife through flesh. In a frenzy of terror, the Thompsons fled into the night, their minds shattered and their spirits broken. They stumbled blindly through the streets, their hearts pounding with a primal fear that refused to be silenced. Only when they reached the safety of the outside world did they dare to look back, their eyes wide with disbelief at the nightmare they had left behind. Chapter 6. Shadows of Trauma and Redemption. In the aftermath of their ordeal, the Thompson family struggled to pick up the shattered fragments of their lives. The trauma of their harrowing experience loomed over them like a dark cloud, casting a shadow that refused to be dispelled. They sought solace in therapy and support groups, but the wounds inflicted by their ordeal ran deep, leaving scars that would never fully heal. Yet, in the midst of their despair, they found a glimmer of hope. a chance to rebuild their shattered lives and emerge from the darkness stronger than they had ever been before. And though the memories of that fateful night would haunt them for the rest of their days, they refused to let fear dictate their future, choosing instead to embrace the light that had eluded them for so long. Chapter 7. Lessons Learned in the Shadows. As I reflect on the chilling saga of the Thompson family, I am reminded of the fragility of our understanding of the world around us. In the quietest of suburbs, horrors beyond imagination can take root, tearing apart the fabric of our reality with merciless abandon. May their tales serve as a whispered warning against the dangers that lurk in the shadows, and may you tread carefully as you navigate the dark corners of the world around you. For in the depths of the unknown, there are truths that defy comprehension and horrors that defy explanation. And yet, in the face of unimaginable darkness, there is always the promise of light, a beacon of hope that shines brightest in the darkest of nights. Introduction. In the vast tapestry of human experiences, there are stories that transcend the confines of imagination, tales so chilling that they etch themselves into the very fabric of reality. Among these narratives lies one devoid of fantastical elements yet brimming with terror, the harrowing saga of Sarah, whose journey through the depths of horror would leave an indelible mark on the annals of human history. Chapter 1. The Serene Prelude. Our tale unfurls in a serene suburban enclave, where the cadence of life flows with tranquil ease. Here, amidst the idyllic scenery, resides Sarah, a young woman whose dreams soar as boundlessly as the azure sky above. With a loving family, steadfast friends, and aspirations that gleam like distant stars, Sarah embarks on her journey with hope as her guiding light. Sarah's neighborhood, a picturesque landscape of manicured lawns and quaint homes, exudes an aura of peaceful contentment. Children's laughter dances through the air, and the gentle rustle of leaves provides a soothing backdrop to the rhythm of daily life. In this tranquil haven, Sarah finds solace, a sanctuary from the tumultuous currents of the outside world. Chapter 2. The Ominous Encounter. Yet, amidst the tranquil beauty of her surroundings, a shadow looms. A chance encounter that sets in motion a chain of events destined to unravel the very fabric of Sarah's existence. It is an ordinary day when she crosses paths with a stranger, a man whose smile conceals a darkness that sends shivers down her spine. Little does she know, this meeting marks the inception of a descent into the abyss of terror. The stranger's eyes, though adorned with a veneer of warmth, betray a glint of malevolence, a subtle flicker that sets Sarah's nerves on edge. His words, innocuous at first glance, carry an undercurrent of menace, a chilling premonition of the horrors yet to come. Despite her instinctive unease, Sarah brushes off the encounter as a fleeting anomaly, a mere footnote in the story of her life. Chapter 3. The Gathering Storm. As days melt into weeks, an insidious sense of unease begins to take root within Sarah's soul, a gnawing dread that coils itself around her heart like a serpent. The once familiar streets now seem cloaked in foreboding shadows, and every passing moment drips with the venom of impending doom. Sarah's once unwavering optimism begins to wane, replaced by a gnawing sense of apprehension that gnaws at the edges of her consciousness. The laughter of children no longer brings her joy, and the chirping of birds evokes not serenity, but a haunting sense of disquiet. Try as she might, Sarah cannot shake the feeling that she is being watched, that unseen eyes follow her every move with malignant intent. Chapter 4. The Unraveling Reality. With each passing day, the threads of Sarah's reality begin to fray, a tapestry of inexplicable occurrences that defy rational explanation. Strange phone calls in the dead of night, whispers that dance on the edge of perception, and fleeting glimpses of a sinister figure lurking in the shadows, all serve to erode the fragile facade of normalcy. Sarah's nights are plagued by fitful sleep, her dreams haunted by twisted visions that blur the line between fantasy and reality. She awakens each morning drenched in cold sweat, her heart pounding with a primal fear she cannot name. Desperate for respite, Sarah seeks solace in the familiarity of her daily routine, yet even the mundane rituals of everyday life offer no sanctuary from the encroaching darkness. Chapter 5. The abyss gazes back. As the boundary between dream and reality blurs, Sarah finds herself teetering on the brink of madness, a precipice from which there seems to be no escape. Sleep becomes a distant memory, her nights plagued by visions of unspeakable horror that threaten to consume her very soul. In the dead of night, Sarah's bedroom becomes a battleground, a realm where nightmares reign supreme and the line between reality and illusion fades into obscurity. Shadows dance along the walls like malevolent specters, and the silence is shattered by the echo of her own terrified screams. Try as she might to flee the horrors that assail her, Sarah finds herself ensnared in a web of terror from which there is no escape. Chapter 6. The Revelation Unveiled. Amidst the chaos that ensnares her, Sarah stumbles upon a revelation that plunges her deeper into the abyss of despair. The stranger she encountered was not merely happenstance, but a malevolent force whose tendrils extend far beyond the realm of mortal comprehension. With this chilling realization, Sarah braces herself for the battle that lies ahead. In her quest for answers, Sarah delves into the depths of her own psyche, seeking to unravel the mysteries that shroud her tormentor in darkness. With each piece of the puzzle she uncovers, the true extent of the danger she faces becomes painfully clear. Yet, even as fear threatens to consume her, Sarah refuses to surrender to despair, clinging to the faint glimmer of hope that burns within her heart. Chapter 7. The Battle Cry of Survival. Armed with newfound resolve, Sarah wages war against the darkness that seeks to engulf her. A battle for survival against an adversary whose true nature remains shrouded in mystery. With each passing moment, the stakes escalate, and the line between sanity and oblivion blurs into oblivion. With each passing day, Sarah's determination grows stronger, fueled by a primal instinct for self-preservation that defies reason. She becomes a force to be reckoned with, a warrior poised to confront the demons that lurk in the shadows of her own mind. Though the path ahead is fraught with peril, Sarah presses forward, her resolve unyielding in the face of overwhelming odds. Chapter 8. The Resilience of the Human Spirit. In the crucible of adversity, Sarah discovers a wellspring of strength that defies comprehension, a flame of resilience that refuses to be extinguished. With unwavering determination, she confronts her tormentor head-on, refusing to yield to the suffocating embrace of fear. With each trial she faces, Sarah emerges stronger, a spirit tempered by the fires of adversity. Though the scars of battle mar her flesh, they serve as a testament to her resilience, a reminder of the battles she has fought and the victories she has won. In the face of unspeakable horror, Sarah stands tall, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. Chapter 9. The Dawn of Redemption. As the dust settles and the echoes of the past fade into silence, Sarah emerges battered yet unbowed, a survivor forged in the crucible of suffering. Though scars mar her flesh and nightmares haunt her dreams, she refuses to be defined by the horrors of her past, choosing instead to embrace the promise of a future untainted by fear. In the aftermath of her ordeal, Sarah finds solace in the embrace of loved ones, drawing strength from the bonds that bind her to the world she fought so hard to protect. Though the shadows may linger and the nightmares may persist, Sarah remains steadfast in her resolve, a testament to the enduring resilience of the human spirit in the face of true horror. Conclusion. In the annals of human history, there exist stories that defy comprehension, tales of survival in the face of unimaginable adversity, where the human spirit triumphs against all odds. This is one such story, a narrative born from the depths of despair yet imbued with the indomitable power of hope. And though the shadows may linger and the nightmares may persist, there remains a beacon of light, a testament to the enduring resilience of the human spirit in the face of true horror. In the heart of the vast and rolling plains of the Midwest sits the tranquil town of Villisca, Iowa. Its streets, lined with quaint houses and shaded by towering trees, exude an air of peaceful serenity that seems to stretch on endlessly. Yet, beneath the surface of this idyllic facade lies a chilling tale that has echoed through the annals of time, leaving behind a legacy of fear and uncertainty that still haunts the town to this day. It was on a warm summer evening in the year 1912 when the Moore family, pillars of the community, returned home from a church event. Joseph Moore, a hard-working man with a gentle demeanor, led his wife Sarah and their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, back to their modest abode nestled amidst the quiet streets of Villisca. The Moore family was well liked by all who knew them, their kindness and generosity earning them the respect and admiration of their neighbors. As night descended upon the town, the Moore family retired to bed, blissfully unaware of the horrors that lurked in the shadows. In the stillness of the early morning hours, a sinister figure slipped through the darkness, stealthily making his way towards the Moore residence. Clutching an axe tightly in his hand, the intruder moved with calculated precision, his every step muffled by the thick carpeting of the house. With a sudden and brutal ferocity, the assailant descended upon the sleeping Moore family, unleashing a frenzy of violence that would forever stain the town of Villisca with blood. Joseph and Sarah Moore were the first to fall victim to the intruder's wrath, their bodies mutilated beyond recognition by the savage blows of the axe. The sound of the blade slicing through flesh echoed through the silent house, mingling with the stifled cries of the dying. But the carnage did not end there. With chilling determination, the assailant made his way to the children's rooms, each swing of the axe more brutal than the last. Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul stood no chance against the merciless onslaught, their innocent lives snuffed out in an instant by the unrelenting fury of the intruder. Their bodies, bearing the gruesome marks of the axe's blade, lay scattered throughout the rooms, their blood staining the walls and floors in a macabre tableau of death. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden light upon the scene of unimaginable horror, the town of Villisca awoke to a nightmare beyond comprehension. News of the axe murders spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves of fear and disbelief rippling through the tight-knit community. How could such a heinous crime occur in their midst? Who could be capable of such unspeakable acts? In the aftermath of the tragedy, the town of Villisca was gripped by a palpable sense of fear and suspicion. Residents locked their doors at night, casting wary glances at their neighbors as they struggled to come to terms with the senseless brutality that had invaded their peaceful town. Despite the best efforts of local authorities and even the intervention of famed detective James Newton Wilkerson, the identity of the killer remained shrouded in mystery, a dark specter haunting the collective consciousness of the town. As the years passed and the memory of the Villisca axe murders began to fade into the recesses of history, the town struggled to move on from the horrors of that fateful night. Yet, despite their best efforts, the legacy of the murders endured, a chilling reminder of the fragility of human life and the depths of human depravity. And as night falls once again over the quiet town of Villisca, the whispers of the past linger in the air, a haunting reminder of the true horror that lies just beyond the threshold of our everyday lives.